Hey folks, welcome back. Right here behind me is the range hood that I built in my last episode, and today I'm going to take you through some of the steps you need to consider when you're thinking about what actual fan to buy before you start building a range hood itself. So the fan I'm talking about is often called a range hood fan or just a range fan. Basically, it's the fan that's going to go inside of your enclosure here and actually get rid of the fumes and all the gas is being produced when you're cooking. So I'm going to show you how that works. And just in case you're wondering, the bugs are still out, so I'm going to keep talking here. Before you go any further though, or before I go any further, I just want to give you a once over of what I've done here up to this point in case you haven't seen the other episode. What you see before you is essentially a three-sided box, and I'll show you the insides in a second. On the outside here, I used some leftover flooring. This is wire brush circle sawn hemlock flooring. This right here, these are 4-inch pieces. These are all individual tongue and groove 4-inch pieces. There's 9 of them, makes up an overall width of approximately 30 inches. And to be even more accurate, let's get a tape on this because I can't remember exactly. So yeah, it's actually 29 7/8. Okay, so that's the overall width. Now this is a skirt board down here, and you'll see what I mean by that. But from the very bottom to the very top, you're at about 30 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so reclaimed flooring here. The reason I'm using this, I had it left over from a project, and the whole goal here was to add some custom elements to my kitchen, which is kind of big box store-ish or kind of cookie cutter. So having elements like this will really bump up the appeal and make it that much nicer, and maybe even trick a few people into thinking it might be somewhat custom. Anyways, let's get into the inside here. And so I'm going to flip it over. And even if you have seen my other episode, you probably have not seen this. This is brand new. This is how I'm going to mount my insert or my fan insert. And I'm going to do that right now and show you exactly how that goes. Before I get there, the model of fan that I purchased to fit into this 30-inch wide cabinet is not written here. Where'd it go? Guess I'll have to keep looking. Anyways, here it is in front of me. I might as well just insert it. And you guys can see here, the most important cut on this entire range hood is this cutout right here on the bottom. That has to be exact. And in order to get the correct dimensions, what you need to do is with your tape, excluding the lips, take the overall width, which for mine is 10 1/4, and the overall length, which for mine, I believe, is 19 1/2. So you need to get those overall dimensions and make sure you cut it exactly on your lower piece of plywood. Now, these dimensions are also found in the manual. Once I figure out where that got to, I'll tell you. But anyways, this slides in just like this. And as you can see, you don't want to have any play whatsoever. You want it to be nice and snug. So if you have to cut this board more than once, do it. Don't just say good enough. It needs to be good, not good enough. Okay? This particular model, as I said, this is made, what is this made by? Geez, I better grab that piece of paper. Be right back. Okay, here it is. This unit, as you see before you, with this cover, like so. So this cover goes on, I think just like that. This unit here, as you see it, this is the Broan-nutone PM390, 6 zones for sound, 390 CFM. This was $290.98 Canadian off Amazon.ca. Down below in the description, I'll have the link to that. But as I was saying, in this unit, it's got to fit perfectly into this piece of plywood. Once it fits into this plywood and you're confident it's going to not go anywhere, you can seal the deal by putting some screws in. And in order to secure this, what I like to do is either put screws through these bottom holes here. There's a hole there, here. So you can put screws through that bottom hole directly into this piece of plywood. This plywood is 1/2 inch, by the way. Or what I like to do to make it even stronger is I can put screws through the side holes here. If you look inside here, there's side holes. And those side holes will connect to another piece of wood, which I had previously installed. And these are those previously installed pieces, and you guys can see them here. I just took some, I think this is leftover 2x4, and I just cut it 10¼ inches and put it on both sides, secured it with screws to the plywood. So these are nice and firm now, and now I can just put the screws on the inside of that fan housing directly into the 2x4s, and they're not going anywhere. That's essentially how I built the inside part to actually accept the fan. Now, one thing to note here, and let's put this back in. Okay, one thing to note here, notice how I have this lip here. This lip, I called it a valance before, this bottom piece. It overhangs this surface by about 1 inch. That way when it's up there, actually installed, you don't see all this underside. You don't see this plywood here. It sort of blocks your view. But to make it even better, what I'm probably going to do after I get it finalized, I'm probably going to cut some trim pieces out of the same hemlock, and I'll just cover over that plywood surface so that when I'm painting it, it's a nice smooth finish. Now if we swing around to the back here, and keep in mind this is sort of leaned over on the workbench, you guys can see the 6-inch opening. This will connect to the existing ducting, and ultimately with just a little bit of work I'll be able to get that hooked up. Now there's a fine balance here in terms of the width of the balance, and I'll turn the balance so it's right side up in a moment so you can see it. But this width here and the overhang, you want it enough, but you don't want it too much. If it's too much, what you're going to end up doing is, in order to get controls working, you're going to have to bend down and look up at the underside of the fan all the time. That's if the valance is too big. Therefore, I like to keep the valance relatively small, just enough so that your eyesight does not allow you to see the surface of the plywood, but not so much that you have to bend over to see these controls for the actual fan. Now, when you're thinking about how to connect your range hood to the wall, it's important to think about where your studs are located. Most studs in most homes are about 16 inches on center. So if you have 2 studs and they're positioned right about here, well, that's perfect. You can secure your range hood directly through this top piece, directly through the bottom piece at those 16-inch increments. However, sometimes, and luck will have it, you put your tape measure up and you try to figure out where your studs are going to align with your range hood. You find that one of the 16-inch centers is right there in the middle, and if you go 16 inches to the right from there, look at that, it falls outside the range hood. If you go 16 inches this way from that one stud, it falls outside of the range hood. That would then only allow you to get 2 screws, one in the top, one in the bottom, to secure this. For me, that'll work, but it's not necessarily the ideal situation in my circumstance. You guys know that I'm building an IKEA kitchen, which is going to utilize the rail system. I then used some of their hardware that they use on their kitchen cabinets and mounted it so I can simply go up beside cabinets on both sides, set it on the same rail, and I know it'll butt up tight to the top of the ceiling. My situation, I went inside, I measured the distance from the ceiling down to where the rail is, and I determined it was 8¼ inches. That allowed me to set these, and now I can simply go in the house, hold on to the range hood, set it on the rail, and boom, I'm done. And one of the last things I want to talk to you guys about before you tackle this DIY project, it's the material you plan on using. I use 3/4 inch plywood here because I don't want any flexing in the plywood. This plywood is essentially the frame for the entire structure. We don't want it warping, we don't want it twisting, we want it to feel solid. 3/4 inch plywood is the way to go. 1/2 inch, yes, it'll work, but in my experience, sometimes 1/2 inch plywood can get just a little bit of a swoop to it from time to time, and therefore it would require more structural framing, and I don't want to put all that effort into it. Using 3/4 inch plywood, cut it to the shape, provides plenty of structure for the both sides. So guys, that's going to do it for me here today. As you can tell, I got a real good range hood here, I think. I just got to put some color onto it. I'm not sure what that's going to be. Might end up being a dark stain with a clear coat, or it might be a whitewash. Haven't quite decided. As I said in my previous episode, I'm looking for you guys to give me your 2 cents as to what type of finish you think I should put on this. I'm going with an IKEA kitchen. It's an off-white color frame on the cabinets. So if I could get something that either starkly contrasts it or matches it, i.e. a whitewash, then that'd be great. One thing I want to avoid is paint. I don't know, woodworkers and paint, gee, I can't really do it. I have to have some sort of stain or something else that really brings out the wood. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Come on back next time, and I hope to see you then.